I guess it's not exactly so. Anyways, I'm here to give you guys a movie review, which is basically a movie. Basically, a movie's called Top Gun. Top Gun. I haven't seen this movie in such a long time. I feel like I want to watch it, and I feel like I really want to watch it. I really do. In honoring of Navy aviation, or let's say basically the Navy, basically of Pensacola. Um, I'm wearing a shirt basically in honor of for my dad because he was basically in the Navy. He served for I'd say 23, 24 years. I can't remember. Um, he was on a ship called the Saratoga, the legendary Saratoga. It's been around for hundreds of years. I would personally would definitely say through I think through into France too. I think so. I'm not so sure. Not so sure. He was one of the last crew members of the Saratoga. If you guys don't know the Saratoga is no longer around anymore, or let's say most of brought it back, which I really don't even know. I really don't know that much military history or anything like that. So, what is Top Gun basically is all about with this base in this movie? Well, Top Gun is basically all about the star actor known as Tom Cruise. If you guys don't know who Tom Cruise is, he played in the movie A Few Good Men, Mission Impossible. I can't remember what other name movies he played in. He also played in the Top Gun 2, which is called Maverick, which I definitely do think it was a very good movie. Very, very good movie. I definitely do think. He also played in some other movies. I'm pretty sure that he has played. I don't know what other movies that he has played. I haven't seen really most of those movies. I think he also played in a vampire movie also too. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. I've heard that one's a really long movie. I have to look into that. Look into that. To be honest with you, I happen to like Tom Cruise. It doesn't really matter, if the guy has a big ego or anything like that. He's a really good actor. He really actually is. I know a lot of people probably don't like him because he doesn't know really much about being in the military because he's just an actor and stuff like that. I guess you probably would argue with base with that because when you have people that Hollywood people just don't see eye to eye when it comes to people being in the military was like to go out there on the battlefield with your brothers and your sisters or whoever it is, or fly up in the air or something like that. It doesn't really matter. It's stuff like that. It really actually is. So, like I said, for the reason why I wear the shirt because just to honor of my dad, not just to honor just basically Pensacola where I live. Even though I don't live in Pensacola, I live in Crestfield, Florida. But because like I said, for my dad was in the Navy, he was in the Navy and stuff like that, and I always honors that. I always loved the Navy, no matter what. I always have. I respect other different branches when it comes to U.S. Coast Guard, Army, National Guard, Marines, Air Force, Space Force, whatever you want to call it, or anything like that. I do respect all that and it's basic stuff. But I have friends far in between. I have families that been in the military, and it's such a good feeling. It really actually is, and stuff like that. I really wish I had the time to basically have an opportunity to basically go in the military. Even though I did try, but it didn't really work out too very well. But and stuff like that. But even though it still matters. It still matters to basically to me. It really does, and I just want people to really to understand. You know, you know, when you're going out there doing your thing or whatever that you need to do, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to be a soldier. It's tough to be a firefighter. It's tough to be a firefighter or ambulance or a police officer or whatever it is, or a nurse or a doctor or whoever you basically are. They have to put their lives on the lines for them to do that and stuff like that. They have to take unnecessary risks that they have to take, and especially with in the COVID era. Oops, maybe I said that, but I'm just saying. Um, I think Tom Cruise did a really great job playing in this movie. Top Gun. I definitely think that he really did such a wonderful job. He's a very good, phenomenal actor. He knows what he's doing. I'm not 100% sure if he really actually did fly the plane or that was just basically a stunt that he did or something like that. I really do not know. I have no idea if he did or not. I don't know. It probably took a lot of acting for him to do that. It for them to really actually do it. And I'm really kind of curious about the angle frames and stuff like that when they're flying and stuff like that. That's one thing I'm really curious about. Let's say you have a helicopter like film them and see like where they're going through and stuff like that. I don't know. I like to know, but I'd like to know the details how they really do that and stuff like that. It's just the back then of the filming back then was just so detailed, so graphic. They didn't have like really CGI back then. Sometimes they did have that back then, but they used it basically just kind of like a old fashioned kind of like an era, basic kind of like thing and stuff like that. When you have like Tom Cruise, I don't think he doesn't usually do like it doesn't feel to me that he really relies on using CGI, and maybe that he does and stuff like that for his movies, and maybe that he doesn't or anything like that. But he's a really phenomenal actor. Really, actually is. He loves doing action-packed anime, and excuse me, not anime, action-packed movies. That's something that he definitely he really does like, and that fits his narrative really, really a lot, and stuff like that. I was 100 respect Tom Cruise really a lot, regardless of whatever some people may like him or dislike him. The person just hate the man or so whatever it is, and stuff like that. I think that I just definitely do think, personally, in my opinion, I just basically just see the movie just the way as it is and stuff like that. Now the movie is based on a true story where basically, he basically loses a friend. Base his name is Goose. Now I don't know who the actor name is that or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea if he's still around or not. I really do not know. I really do not know. I don't know if he played in any other movies, maybe which I probably don't know or anything like that. But I will the personal to say here, I definitely think the movie was genuine, was good, was wonderful, very good storyline. You will never find really good movies like this in such a really long time, and you never will. You never will. And I personally will definitely say it's definitely is a very good movie. Now, one thing and out of arrogance, I definitely will say this. Definitely will say this. I'm not the biggest fan of Iceman, but I definitely do respect him. But he's keen. He seems like he's kind of like a bully kind of guy, like kind of bullied Maverick pretty much most of the time because just mocking him and just not like making fun of him, but just showing him just like like he's more higher standard than Maverick is. Like Maverick's right here and Iceman's like here, but Maverick wants to be more higher standard than Iceman really actually is because they pretty much don't like each other, but they do have a mutual respect for each other. But they're both rivals and stuff like that. Because when you got like hot shots and stuff like that, basically in the military and stuff like that, sometimes rivalry definitely do happen. Sometimes it really does, and sometimes that does happen. Sometimes they have a mutual respect for each other. Sometimes they really don't. And that just really just depends on basically, from the different aspects, basically when it comes basically into movies and stuff like that. Now, take as an instance for Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is a very good example. A very good movie. I don't think it's not really basic detailed really that much based on the storyline, based on the movie, but it's a very long movie. It's a very action packed good movie. It really actually is. It definitely does have some CGI based in the movie, but it's basically tells the part of what happened in the movie Pearl Harbor. But there's another movie that tells a much more different, brighter aspect of the movie, which is basically called Tora. I think that's what it's called. It's an older movie. Stuff like that. I think I've seen it. I'm not so sure. I may have to watch it because I hope it's not too long because I don't like watching movies that's way too long. Sometimes I do, but it just really depends on the movie. If I ever do get the time to watch Tora, I definitely do watch. I definitely would watch that because I think that tells more of a brighter story. The Cohen of the story of what happened basically at Pearl Harbor. But when you have a Ben Affleck based kind of movie of Pearl Harbor, it kind of adds in kind of the fan service and stuff like that, but it just doesn't really feel like a kind of aspect based kind of movie that a story that would just basically be related to Pearl Harbor and stuff like that. Each and every different movie I see and stuff like that, it does have those different aspects. Saving Private Ryan is a very great example. It's a very good movie. It's a really long movie, very very long movie, and where they go on a mission where they have to save Private Ryan. They have to save him because he's out there on the battlefield because one of his brothers got killed. They're no longer around anymore and stuff like that. I'm one of the person want to say I really am very intrigued in watching military movies. Like I said, for I'm not really that knowledgeable when it comes into basically in the military and stuff like that. And stuff like that. And usually I would personally will definitely say this. I just want people to respect this really a lot. And I want people to really understand here is that if you approach somebody, you ask them about what it's like there to be out there on the battlefield, don't ask them that question. I ask you guys, please do not do that because that's disrespectful and that's really it's not right because that's just not something that somebody definitely really want talks about because they have that trigger of PTSD and that is something that they don't generally don't feel it's basically right and stuff like that. And let me just say this, to be honest with you, I have asked somebody that before, and somebody did get triggered, but didn't really attack me, but got emotionally very upset. Got emotionally very upset, kind of lashed out to me, and just basically in a way that I should have known better and I should have not to do that and stuff like that. My dad got really upset with me about that, saying I shouldn't say those kind of things. I should never ask those kind of questions when somebody's been through a battle or lost their brother out there on the battlefield, whoever it is, and stuff like that. That is something that's disrespectful. I'm willing to admit that I made a mistake because I didn't know any better because I was young back then because I didn't know any better because I really did. I really did. Sometimes people are okay to talk about it, but sometimes people are not okay to really to talk about it. That's just my opinion. That's what I definitely think. Now, the premise is based on the movie. Basically, there's some songs. "Take My Breath Away" It's a very good, great. It's a very good song, beautiful song. I love the song. It's very, very beautiful. I think it's a very, very beautiful song. Kenny Loggins, I think that's his name. Um, "Danger Zone," a very famous song. It's been going on for years and years and years. And there's another song on "You Got That Love and Feeling." I don't know who sings that. Forgive me for saying that. I really do not know who sings that song. And then you also have the female protagonist who plays as Charlie. She's a very good support character to the MC based in the movie. She's basically kind of like the female protagonist based in the movie. Her name is Charlie. That's just basically her code name that was basically given to her, which basically means that she has power to go through military records and stuff like that because she has the power to do that and stuff like that because she has the knowledge to do that. That's her job. That's what she's supposed to do. My favorite part in some of the movies where she help Maverick out, tell him and say, hey, this is not your fault because what happened to Goose. You shouldn't feel responsible for that, even though that she was right, even though that Viper told Goose, I mean, excuse me, not Goose, Maverick told Maverick I said, like, you got to learn to let them go. There's going to be others. There's going to be others that are going to fall. You're going to have that to happen. That's kind of like passing the trophy on to somebody else. It's kind of like winning, like when you like pass the gifts to somebody else. Let's just put it out way, not passing the trophy, but pass the gifts to somebody else. The learning of the gift, and when you learn that then you'll be able to really to understand that, and then you'll be able to really to learn from their experience and from their mistakes and stuff like that. And sometimes that's hard. That's hard. That's very, very hard and stuff like that. As young as spaces as Maverick is and stuff like that, as for him, learning from the experience from an older person to a younger given experience to a younger person is very important. It really actually is. Sometimes younger people do definitely do need some talking to. Sometimes they definitely do need some word of advice, because if we don't give them any word of advice, then they're not going to learn anything. They're not going to know. They're not going to understand, because they're not going to really see. So if we don't lead them down towards that direction, then they're going to falter and they're going to fall behind, and then they go locked up in jail, and that's the sad reality and stuff like that. And I've seen it many times before, based on the news. It's really a sad, really is. But I wanted the principle to say here, I definitely do think the movie, like I said before, is great, it's wonderful, it's brilliant, it's fantastic. You would never see movies based like this in such a long time. You never will, because it's very, 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 very rare. Does this movie does has in common with the Top Gun Maverick movie? In a way, it does, but it doesn't really show those elements that you really basically definitely do see. But you you definitely do get to see Iceman basically being in the second movie. Now, I wanted to first of all say I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping that I'm not really so sure if there's going to be a third movie of Top Gun. Now, I don't know. That's something I really don't know. I think Tom Cruise has been saying like he wants to make it a third movie, but I really don't know. But I'm also concerned about for his health. That's one thing I'm concerned about, because I just don't know if he can push it really that far, because Tom Cruise's face is getting up to the age where I definitely do think he's really getting up to the point where he's basically going to retire. I mean, that's what I definitely do think. But I'm not saying I want to see him retire, but I'm just hoping that he really does not get himself killed when he does all these action packed basic kind of movies. That's just my opinion. That's what I definitely do think. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for this movie for you. Tell what you guys think. You guys like this movie? You guys like the old nostalgia movie? I would give this movie a 10 out of 10. It's a beautiful movie, like I said, wonderful, great, definitely very good. But yeah, anyways, since I know I'll see you guys later. Take care. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Please like button, give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. At least it'll be comfortable. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.